Hello, my dear friends. So, today we are going to continue with our chapter number 3 of History, Class 9th NCERT, that is Nazism and the Rise of Hitler. So, before we start our today's video, let me tell you that we have already discussed the complete overview of this chapter in our previous video. If you haven't watched that video, link is given in the description below. Go through it to have a clear concept in your mind. So let's begin with our today's video. So friends, if you remember that in the last video we concluded with 3 questions that we have to answer in our next chapter. That were, what was that experience? That experience refers to what was the experience when everyone came to feel that the rise of Nazi Germany could be partly traced back to the German experience at the end of First World War. So what experience was witnessed by Germany at the end of First World War? And second one was, what compelled Hitler and his followers to commit suicide? Third, what harshness was imposed by the Allies on Germany after First World War? So friends, in our coming videos we are going to answer these 3 questions with full explanation. This was the short recap so that you can stay connected with this story. So let's begin. So let's come on to our today's topic, that is birth of Weimar Republic. So friends, first of all, let us understand the meaning of these two words, Weimar Republic. So Weimar is a city in Germany and Republic is all you know, a system where head of the government is elected by the people. So if we conclude this, the meaning of these two words was that establishment of republic means democratic government at Weimar to the whole of Germany, but it was established at Weimar, that's why it is regarded as Weimar Republic. Now, to understand this topic, let's have a brief overview of World War I. One second. Now, the two belligerents in World War I were first the Central Powers, second the Allied Powers. Central Powers consisted of Germany, German Empire, Austrian-Hungary Empire and this Ottoman Empire. So friends, you must be wondering that why I am placing the word empire before all these nations, because at that time, during the time of World War I, these countries were not in existence. What was there was empire. Why? Because monarch rulers were ruling over these nations hereditary. So German, Austrian-Hungary and Ottoman Empire were the central powers, and allied powers consisted of Great Britain, UK, France and Russia. So these were the allied powers, and the purple powers which you can see are those which were neutral, neither with central powers nor with allied powers. So that's not our topic. Central powers were German, Austrian-Hungary and Ottoman Empire, and allied powers were France, Russia and Great Britain Empire. Okay. Now Germany fought the First World War 1914 to 1918 with the Austrian Empire and Ottoman Empire against the Allies, England, France and Russia. So friends, these 3 countries which I have referred to, both of the powers were the initial ones who were from starting engaged in wars. Later on, many small and big countries joined them. We'll discuss them later. So now Germany, let's discuss the situation of war also. So Germany initially Germany was in a victorious position as it had made gains by occupying France and Belgium. See here. So Germany is here. So now why Germany was in victorious position? Because it has occupied France and Belgium. Right now, Belgium is in neutral parts, but later on it will come to allied ones. So now you can imagine what a great victorious position Germany was at. It had occupied one of the major powers of the allied and its neighboring countries, that is Belgium. But now you must be wondering that Germany was defeated. How were the consequences changes which led to the defeat of Germany? That we are going to discuss right now. But in 1917, you all know that First World War was from 1914 to 1918. So a year before the World War end, USA, United States of America, joined the World War first from the side of allies. And you can obviously wonder that if such a powerful country joined any group, so obviously it would be in an advantageous position. And that prediction came out to be true. USA, with the entry of USA, allies won, defeating Germany and the Central Powers in November 1918. So now, friends, you must be wondering that why US took a entry in 1917 World War. So as all the countries were in a hope to gain something from a quick victory, but obviously it was not a quick victory. The war ended for 4 long years, but then obviously the winning power has a advantageous position over the defeating ones, because it acquires the defeating countries resources, peoples, territorial gains, and these are basically the major aims why the wars are fought. So that's why US took entry, and with its entry, allies won, defeating Germany and Central Powers. So now you must be wondering that what's the relation between Weimar Republic and World War One. So I am going to answer this question in the coming few seconds. Now, friends, focus on my word. Defeat of Imperial Germany. Imperial Germany means German Empire ruled by a hereditary monarch. So when the Imperial Germany was defeated, so now there was a demand of change in the type of government that was made by parliamentary parties and various social leaders. So it led to the abdication of German emperor. Who was he? His name was Wilhelm II, and he abdicated his throne in the year 1918. You can see him in this picture. He was the last emperor of Germany. So now, friends, Germany went through a great political transition in which monarchy was abolished and democracy was established. So let's read on to it. A national assembly met at Weimar. So the national assembly, which formed the democratic government, was met at Weimar, a city in German. That's why its name was Weimar Republic. Now I think you are able to connect. And established a democratic constitution with federal structure. Federal structure, what do you mean by this word? It is the distribution of power among the various levels of government, like central government, state government, local government. That's how. But now the republic, the newly formed republic which established democracy in Germany, was not received well by its own people. So its own people means the Germans not wholeheartedly accepted the new Weimar Republic. Why? Because because of the terms the Weimar Republic was forced to accept after Germany's defeat at the end of First World War. So now the question arises, what was that what was those terms on the basis of which Germans didn't accept the Weimar Republic in Germany? So now here is the answer. Why the Weimar Republic was not wholeheartedly accepted? Because after Germany's defeat, it was forced to sign a harsh and humiliating peace treaty, that was the Treaty of Versailles. So now let's discuss its name. Treaty means any agreement, and why it is being referred to as Treaty of Versailles? Because it was signed at the Versailles city situated in France. So now what was in this Treaty of Versailles, because of which the people of Germany were not accepting their own government? Let's look on to that also. So friends, you will personally notice that this Treaty of Versailles, which was imposed on Germany, was really too much excessive, harsh, and humiliating. Why? And first of all, let me solve a question that was definitely coming in your mind, is that the whole Central Powers were defeated by Allies in the First World War. But now, why only the Germany was made to pay all the compensations that we are going to see in this Treaty of Versailles? The answer is that among the Central Powers, Germany was the first nation which surrendered in front of Allies. So the Central Powers held the Germany guilty for their defeat. They said that if Germany didn't surrender, there was a little hope that Central Powers would win, and the whole guilt of the war of the defeat in war of Central Powers was imposed on that Germany, and as a result, Germany was forced to pay compensation in the name of Treaty of Versailles. So now let's look on to this Treaty of Versailles. So in this, Germany lost its overseas colonies. Overseas colonies means the you know that India in its before 1947 was a colony of UK. In the same manner, Germany also has its overseas colonies in Africa and many other continents. So in the Treaty of Versailles, Germany lost all its overseas colonies, a tenth of its population. So obviously, if it is losing territorial land, territorial things, so the people living on that land will also be lost. So a tenth of its population, 13%, and these over 13% of its own territory, means the existing German Empire from the existing German Empire, 13% of its territories were lost, 75% of its iron and 26% of its coal. Now 75% of iron and 26% of coal are the reserves, iron and coal reserves, which were found on these 13% territories and overseas colonies. So as the Germany lost both of these, the population with resources was also lost to France, Poland, Denmark, and Lithuania. But the Allies were not satisfied with this only. To weaken the Germany's power, with the fear that if the Germany's power was not weakened, it would attack the Allies in the future also. So with this fear, the Allied powers demilitarized Germany. Demilitarized means Germany was not allowed to maintain its own army. So now, obviously, as the strength of any nation lies in its army, and Germany's army was demilitarized, so it was also military weakened by the Allies after First World War. And with all these, Germany was forced to pay a compensation amounting to about 6 billion. Now 6 billion is not dollar, it is pound. 6 billion pound Germany had to pay to the Allies as a war guilt compensation. And plus, the resource rich Rhineland was occupied by the Allied armies. Now, Rhineland, what is it? So now, friends, this is the map of Germany after the Treaty of Versailles. So you can see here it is Rhineland. So Rhineland was also firstly demilitarized and then occupied by the Allies. So now, what is the significance of Rhineland? It is said that Rhineland was has abundance of natural resources. So now you can just imagine that. Germany that this Treaty of Versailles was really a harsh and humiliating treaty on Germany. So now let me explain this whole map to you also. So you remember we discussed that 13% of territories of Germany were lost. So this is the 13%. The portion which you can see shaded in the peach. This is the North North Schleswig and West Prussia, Posen, Locrine, Alsace, and this part. So these comprised of total 13% of Germany's own territories, which were lost as a compensation in Treaty of Versailles to the Allied. And these were the powers which were portions which were demilitarized. This and this also. Now, friends, a question must be coming that why the people of Germany held the Weimar Republic responsible for it, because it was obviously a compulsion for the Germany to accept that Treaty of Versailles, as it was a component of defeated power. But those who are at the front means, like if we compare this situation in today's manner, if anything is wrong in our nation, then obviously the direct blame goes to the government, because government is at the forefront, and if anything will be there against the welfare of the nation, so people of citizen of that nation will hold the government responsible for that only. So the same condition was prevailing over the Germany. Germans held the new Weimar Republic responsible not only for the defeat in war, but for the disgrace at Versailles of Germany. Because disgrace, why it is being referred to as disgrace? Because we already discussed that Treaty of Versailles resulted in territorial loss with population, resources, and even the Germany was demilitarized so that it can't stand up again in the future against the Allies. So, friends, this is with the section of birth of Weimar Republic. We discussed how the Weimar Republic was introduced, how it replaced democracy, and then how the people of Germany turned against Weimar Republic, Treaty of Versailles. And with this, we concluded with our today's video. And friends, till now, when till the second unit of our chapter, that is Rise of Hitler's rise to power, we are just creating a fertile ground to understand the circumstances before the rise of Hitler. What compelled Hitler's policies to be so cruel and harsh? What were the conditions of Germany before and after Hitler? We are just having an overview of all those situations. So hope you like that video. If you like the video, press the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, learn knowledge, and if you are having any doubt, comment in this comment section below. I will definitely answer all your doubts. Thank you very much.